So you've been doing SMC for a while and you're still struggling. Now, this video is going to be a complete guide on the 2-drive engulfing candle that I use as my final confirmation. I've gatekeeped this for a while, for about 1.5 years now, but it's finally come to the point where I want to give out as much value as possible. So throughout this entire video, we're really going to get into depth of to how to use it and really improve your win rate. Yes guys, welcome back to another video, and as usual, we're going to get straight into it, no waffling at all. When it really comes down to it, most SMC and ICT traders trade something similar to these approaches. The first one is they're quite aggressive. Of course, we've got the entry limit approach. So this one I would definitely name as the most aggressive one. And when it really comes down to it, forget the spelling. When it really comes down to it, all they do is basically enter a limit at some kind of order block area and then basically just let price run onwards. If you're trading a higher time frame approach and you don't really have too much time, that could definitely be a way. However, if you've got more time and more confirmation, then this is definitely the better approach at least. But still there's a problem with it. Sometimes what people are doing is they're entering on these kind of areas. They're waiting for a lower time frame change of character, which as you can see, we can see over here. But at this point, they are waiting for either an order block at the extreme level, which is what a lot of people do, or they might be entering on a fair value gap at this kind of area. And still sometimes the trades actually miss. So what's the problem with this? This one is far too aggressive and your win rate will likely be low because there's so many points of interest in the market, you don't know which one will actually work. The second type is the confirmation type, where it is better confirmed. Yes, you get that change of character, but you actually tend to miss some trades from time to time. And again, the main implication that has is it will affect your psychology long term. And I know a lot of people struggle more on that than even their strategy, to be honest. So here's a quick little fix you can use with an engulfing candle to actually sort of get better at this type of thing. So again, in this scenario, we're going to be looking for mainly buys. At this point onwards, we're going to be looking for a pullback to some kind of area. It could either be this breaker block zone, it could be this order block area. But let's just say, for instance, we're looking for that A+ setup. Typically, we're always going to be waiting for any pullback below the 61.8 at least. So when we put the Fibonacci retracement on there, anywhere below this kind of area is good enough for me, and I'll basically consider any buys from that kind of zone. So let's just say it's even deeper than that and we actually start from this kind of zone. What we're going to be waiting for is price to actually pull back to this kind of area slowly. Typically, what we're going to be waiting on is something like this. And this is the power of an engulfing candle. Now, before we get into any of that, let's actually understand why the engulfing candle works so well. And by the way, for those of you that are interested, I have given my entire engulfing candle free PDF down below. You are going to get access to every little thing that I've got over here. It's around 30 pages or so, and it even talks about the most advanced sort of concepts in SMC as well. So download that whilst it's still available, and pretty much there's no penny at all towards it. Now, when we're looking at it, why does the engulfing candle work so well? Now, the reason is because of this. Think about it. If you've got an engulfing candle shooting in the opposite direction, the market is clearly showing an intention that it's moving aggressively in a certain direction. From that point onwards, as soon as we see the market intention, we will actually be able to get into a clear trade. Now, what do I mean by market intention? The reason we use an engulfing candle is because once it closes above a certain area, such as this, for example, and it closes very aggressively with one straight candle that closes above, not, for example, where there's a little wick and it does something like this. That's not what we're looking for. We're always looking for a clear engulfing candle upwards. As soon as we get that, we know the market is clearly showing us we're going to be looking for buys. So from that point onwards, all we're going to be waiting for is some type of pullback downwards and then another continuation upwards. Now, what a lot of people actually don't understand is this. The pullback doesn't have to be extreme. It doesn't have to be all the way down to the order block. Now, the problem with it is, of course, say, for example, we get this a tiny pullback and then we enter, further upwards. Price might actually do something like this in the future and then continue upwards. Now, the benefit of the engulfing candle is this. What it actually shows us is we've had the first drive. So this is what I usually like to call the first drive. This is exactly this point over here where we've actually closed above it. Now, the second drive is typically what we're actually looking forward to. So the second drive over here this is the point that we actually consider our entry. At that point, we get an engulfing candle upwards. Then we enter on a market execution. You could, if you wanted to, really put your stop loss all the way down below and really play it safe. again, depending on where, you can aim for take profits and stuff, you will typically be looking for a sort of 1 to 2 or 1 to 3 or even 1 to 4. Generally, when it comes to sort of my elite strategy, we've optimized it to a point where it's gotten to an 81% average win rate. And we've proven this again and again and again through all of our tests. Now, we've completely closed this course, but what we've actually done in recent times is we've opened up every quarter, so every 3 months or so, we're running a complete bootcamp. This is going to be a 3-week live bootcamp. The link is going to be down below. For those of you that are interested, we are going to be going in depth. The first week is all going to be about setting that foundation and really looking at, all the technicals, all the fundamentals and everything you need to know. The second week is all about testing stage. So when it comes to any strategy, to be honest, you really have to be able to show your strategy works consistently. The only way you do that is you go out and test it and produce results, as we've done time and time again. And the last point is about applying. In the third week, we're going to be doing these live calls, basically trading London and New York session together and really optimizing, okay, cool. How can we translate everything we've learned? How can we translate everything we've tested into the live markets and really prove it? From that point onwards, you're also going to be getting lifetime access to all the trade entries and everything like that. So you guys will basically be having everything that, you're going to need onwards from that point. So for those of you that are interested, the link is down below. We literally have the last few slots before we close everything for this September. We are going to be starting from the 9th of September. So that is basically when we will commence and go on until the end of the month. So going back to the strategy, this is exactly what we want to be looking for. It's not the first drive we look for, it's the second drive. Now, typically what I usually do is something like this. I will typically see a pullback that's quite healthy. As soon as we get the engulfing candle upwards, usually I'd put my stop loss just below over there. And then typically I will look for a continuation to the upside. Now, just as a general reference, I'm usually working on the 5-minute time frame. And what I'm generally aiming for is a 1 to 3 risk to reward. This is something that I'm not saying just out of, just out of my thoughts or whatever, but we've tested this and we've seen the results. A 1 to 3.6 risk to reward is the average we've seen over a massive set of data. So this is not coming from a point where it's opinionated, but it's coming from a point where we have actual facts that really back it. And that's the stage that we want every single person to get to as well. So just looking at the PDF in a bit more detail, we can actually see the typical A+ setup that we actually look for in terms of this engulfing candle confirmation is something like this. We always wait for a discounted point of interest. We have a lower time frame change of character. As soon as we get a pullback, then that golden confirmation, this is what I call it, that second drive or that golden confirmation up, that's always what we're going to be looking for. So very, very simply put, this is one of the best final confirmations you can add to your strategy. I've honestly gatekeeped this for a while. I've been using this for about 1.5 years now, but it's come to the point where a lot of people, I'm seeing the scope of the market and a lot of people are still suffering with just basic smart money concepts. Trust me when I tell you, this will increase your win rate. And it's very simply put, this will increase your win rate. Simply go out, test it, come back and really see, even comment down below if this has actually changed your trading. I get messages, quite often where people are like, bro, this engulfing candle is working very well. Again, I'm not saying this out of whim or anything like that. We've literally tested it and seen how much it works. Before we were probably operating with maybe a 50 to 60% win rate, and now it's really getting up to that higher, that higher tier win rate and everything like that. So guys, I think that's going to be it for this entire video. I'm going to keep it very short and sweet, but if that helped, please like and subscribe and get the word out. And by the way, if you do want the free PDF, it is going to be down below. So remember to download that. And guys, take care and I'll see you all in